This short video is intended to provide guidance on the packaging of category A waste, specifically in the context of the current monkeypox virus outbreak. So we will start by looking at the relevant legal definitions as to what is infectious substances. So under the transport regulations, infectious substances are defined as substances which are known or are reasonably expected to contain pathogens. If you look at the EU waste regulations, then you have an infectious substance is being defined as waste containing viable microorganisms or their toxins which are known or reliably believed to cause disease in man or other living organisms. Now, when it comes to the transport regulations, infectious substances are divided into category A and category B substances, category A being the more high risk. So a category A substance is an infectious substance which is carried in a form that, when exposure to it occurs, it is capable of causing permanent disability, life-threatening or fatal disease in otherwise healthy humans or animals. So effectively you're talking about something that is both causes serious disease, and secondly the risk of infection in the form in which it is carried is high if it should get released from the packaging. Now, monkeypox virus is on a list of indicative examples of category A infectious substances in all forms. That means when it was evaluated, it was considered to pose a high risk of infection, in that possibly only a small number of viruses would have to enter the body for the infection to take hold, and secondly that the disease was serious. Now, it does appear that the current outbreak is not presenting very serious illness, but for the moment, until experts decide otherwise, it has to be packaged as a category A infectious substance. So to do that, first of all, you have to realize category A infectious substances are considered higher risk than regular clinical waste, which is always transported as UN 3291. And because it is considered a higher risk, it requires triple layer packaging, and also it must be shipped under a different UN number, UN 3549. So because it goes as a different packaging and different UN number, it is essential that any infectious waste from either a confirmed case or a suspected case is identified at source and segregated from your routine UN 3291 clinical waste. In the case of a suspect case, it is only as a result of testing, where the suspect case comes back negative, that the retained waste can be released back into the regular UN 3291 waste stream. And it's at that stage you have to remove the UN 3549 label, which would identify it as a category A waste. Okay, so to pack as category A waste, these are the different packing components that are required. You require Weaver 60 litre rigid clinical waste bins with solid lids. You will require HSC stock item clinical waste bags, which have been approved certain standards in terms of tear resistance and impact resistance, or alternatively you could use UN approved bags that are approved for transport of clinical waste in bulk. That's where the bags are actually put directly into the back of a vehicle, as opposed to being carried in wheelie bins, which is what the practice is in Ireland. You will also need absorbent sheets or gelling agents for liquids. You'll need your normal traceability cable ties. Again, presumably you will have some sharps, therefore you will need a sharps bin of an appropriate size, nothing special there. And finally, you do need this UN 3549 category A infectious label, which is illustrated here. So we'll talk through these components in a little bit greater detail now. So first of all, the 60 litre rigid bin. It has to be a Weaver bin, which has a product code WV55917. Now it is going to serve as the outer layer of packaging. Now I say it has to be a 60 litre Weaver bin because that is the only bin that currently has been tested and UN certified at the packing group 1 level, test level, whereas all other rigid bins or indeed clinical waste bags are only tested to the packing group 2 level, which is a lower standard. So at the moment the 60 litre Weaver bin is the only rigid bin that has been subject to this packing group 1 test and has passed successfully. Other bins probably would be capable of passing it, but they haven't been tested. Now it is available as a standard stock item through HSC supplies, so if you check with your stores to make sure that this bin is available. And if you're unsure and you have bins on hand, you can actually verify that by looking at the UN approval code that is embossed onto the bin. And it'll be embossed onto each bin, because that will read, start off with a little UN in a circle, followed by a 1H2Y25S, then 2 digits for the year of manufacture, and then NLTCPI, and then the letters WIVA, and then numbers 140548. So it is quite easy by examining the bin to determine whether it is a Weaver bin or not. If you don't have those bins available or they're not in stock, it can be easily ordered directly from Patron. And there the contact information is email info@patron.ie, or you have a phone number, and again what you're looking for is the product code WV355917. So that is the rigid bin that is required, that will act as your outer layer of packaging. Then you have clinical waste bags, which are going to serve as the intermediate and inner packaging in most cases. Now again, not every clinical waste bag can be used, because the bags have to be capable of passing impact and tear resistant tests. Now the HSE stock item clinical waste bags that are available from Bunzl have been tested and have passed these tests. Again, if you want to be able to identify if you have the correct bags, you can identify the Bunzl bag from the UN approval codes, which are printed onto the bags illustrated over here. And you will identify the Bunzl bag because the last 4 digits will end in 6363 if you happen to be using a 44 micron bag, or 6354 if you're using a 33 micron bag. Again, the full codes are illustrated here, and again what you're looking for is the last 4 digits. Check on that. Again, if you don't have those bags, they can be purchased from Bunzl Irish merchants. Email healthcare@bunzl6882.zendesk.com, or telephone as you like. And again, what you're looking for is a CS400 healthcare risk waste bag, 67 by 112 centimeter by 33 microns in the case of 33 micron bag. That's the product description you're looking for. Alternatively, you can use clinical waste bags that are UN approved for bulk transport, because any bag that is UN approved for bulk transport will have to have undergone those tests as part of the UN approval process. Now, as I say, transport in bulk is not practiced in Ireland, because normally our clinical waste bags are removed in wheelie bins. But in the UK, there is a certain amount of transport in bulk of bags directly in the back of a vehicle, so therefore those bags are available from UK suppliers. So that's the requirements for the clinical waste bag. Then, just to mention, and the absorbent for liquids, again, this is nothing special. The requirement is that there must be sufficient absorbent placed within the inner or intermediate packaging to absorb any liquid present. The requirement for sufficient absorbance also applies to regular clinical waste if you're disposing of small amounts of liquid. Now, in the case of waste associated with monkeypox virus, it is not anticipated to contain significant amounts of liquid. Now, the guidance that went out originally has said that you should be using 2 6-litre absorbent sheets. That was based on the packaging for potential Ebola waste, where the amount of liquid could be anticipated to be much greater. In this case, probably you really won't need that much, because the amount of liquid that are anticipated won't be that large. Now, it is quite possible that the 6-litre bins that are supplied as stock items to HSE would come with a 1 litre or a 6-litre bulk sheet placed in the base of the bins. So it could be a simple matter of just removing that sheet and placing it within the inner or intermediate packaging to give you sufficient absorbent for the liquid that you may be disposing of. Again, the rule from a transport perspective is sufficient absorbent for any liquid to be disposed of. Now, if you need further absorbent, then you can order your 6-litre butt-stop sheets. They can be ordered directly from Petron. Again, the contact information is info@Petron, the phone number there, 018391299. And again, what you're looking for is a product code BS6000. That is for the 6-litre absorbent sheets. Okay, the other components, if you're disposing of sharps, then you need sharps bin of a suitable size. Again, there's nothing special. Your standard sharps bins are fine. Again, you will need traceability cable ties. Again, standard practice. So again, there's no special requirements for either of those. Now, the UN3509 is a special label, infectious label. It is available to order from Patron. And again, the same contact information, info at Patron, and phone 018391299. This is the label over here, illustrated. Now, if you don't have labels available and you need to label bins, then the label can be printed from a color laser printer onto blank A4 label sheets from the template that was attached to the guidance document that was issued. So that would be the if you didn't have the labels on stock or ordered and not available. Okay, so hopefully now you have all your components available, so you're able to pack the waste in accordance with the requirements for Category A infectious substances. So what do you do? So first of all, for non-sharps waste, you take a 6 litre Weaver bin. It must be a Weaver bin, and at that stage you should apply the UN3549 Category A label, so that before you actually start using, you're able to discriminate that waste from your your regular 3291 waste stream. So you can apply that label over the existing 3291 label. Then you take the bin and place a clinical waste bag inside it and fold it down over the sides, and repeat that with a second clinical waste bag. And then you add your absorbent sheets, sufficient for what the participant amount of liquids, place inside the innermost of the clinical waste bags. At that stage, you are ready to actually start disposing of your soft clinical waste into that container, and it may include small amounts of liquid. Once you have sufficient absorbent in there, you are fine. When the bin is 2/3 full with waste, you should close first of all the inner bag according to the manufacturer's instructions. That can be either your cable tie or swan neck closure method. And then you close the outer bag, again, same procedure according to manufacturer's instructions. So you're starting from the inside, close that first, close the second bag second, and then you close the actual rigid Weevil bin with a solid yellow lid. Again, make sure that the lid is on properly, that all the corners are pressed down, and that the tips have engaged and sprung out the hooks on, that is properly on. Because again, if bins are presented with the lids not properly on, they will not be taken by the waste contactor Stericycle. And finally, when you have closed the bin, you must decontaminate the external surface of the bin with 1000 ppm hypochlorite solution in your dirty area before removal anywhere else, and also apply a traceability cable tie. And then you remove the bins to a secure storage area or room until a special collection is arranged. You do not place them in the yellow wheelie bins, or indeed the purple cages, because that could potentially then cause them going out in the wrong stream. And then you have to inform Stericycle. Again, contact details here, 1800 937 628 or serviceireland@stericycle.com email, informing that you have UN3549 Category A infectious waste for collection. Now again, just one thing to be aware of again, that make sure that you have allocated sufficient storage area for maybe bins over the weekend. For example, if it was a suspect case and that you had to hold them until the test came back to see whether it was positive or negative, you might have a number of and similarly again, because the testing is not being reported over the weekend, so you might have to hold waste for 2 or 3 days quite easily. In the case of shops waste, obviously the shops waste must be collected in a suitably sized regular shops bin, and that is going to act as your inner packaging. So the label on it, the 3291 Category B infectious waste label, is fine to leave on it. You don't have to move that, because it's going to be eventually placed in an outer 6 litre Weaver bin with the correct label. When the bin is not being in use, you should just put the lid in the simple closure position, and then when you have your bin 3/4 full, or it's up to the manufacturer's fill line, or you just want to dispose it because you've finished using it, then you make sure it's properly closed. Therefore, you turn the closure until such time as the lock on the closure is engaged. And then you sign a date upon closure, same as normal practice. Then what you do is you place that shaft bin in a clinical waste bag with an absorbent sheet and close the bag according to the manufacturer instructions, again with a cable to swan neck closure method. And then the easiest way of finally packing that out is if you place the bag shaft bin on top of the sealed double bag soft waste in the weaver bin, because particularly where you're using a fairly small shaft bin, when you have closed your soft waste, which then the bags will run to thirds full, there's usually adequate space to just place a shaft spin on top of it. And the advantage of that also is that its soft waste acts as cushioning for the shaft spin. And again, you close your rigid bin with the solid yellow lid, again making sure that the lid is on securely and that all the hooks have engaged. And decontaminate again with 1,000 parts per million hypochlorite solution in dirty area, and then apply your traceability tag, and then take it into your storage area until waiting collection. Okay, now there are some situations where you may have to use a dedicated 6-litre bin for shaft bins. And that can be required, for example, if you're using large shaft bins which are going to occupy most of the 6-litre bin, or your particular hospital institution has a policy of not mixing shafts and soft waste. And just in that instance, just a couple of points to note is that you can only place a single shaft bin in the intermediate packaging, the clinical waste bag. You can't put two into the intermediate packaging when it's flexible. And the other point is that intermediate packaging has to be secured in the outer packaging with suitable cushioning materials. So if it's a situation where you're putting a small shaft bin into a clinical waste bag and then into a 6-litre bin, and it's only maybe coming up a quarter of the way, then you're going to have to pack out that 6-litre bin with some kind of cushioning material so that it isn't rattled around too much. Because that is one of the requirements of the packing instruction. That's why it's probably much more convenient to be able to place the shaft bin on top of your soft waste, because the soft waste acts as cushioning material. Now, as I say, collections and treatment. The collection will be carried out by Stericycle on a dedicated vehicle and transported directly to their treatment facility. And they will be transporting no other waste will be collected with their Category A waste. And Stericycle will perform all Category A waste collections, even if your normal waste provider is another company. In the case of a Category A, it's only Stericycle will be doing that. And Stericycle, when they arrive, will provide all the paperwork for the collections. That means they will provide an ADR transport document, which will be different from your one that is normally used for 3291 waste. And again, they'll provide you with the waste transformer to prepare both of those. The waste itself will be treated at their Kylemore Road facility, because the waste is not suitable for treatment in their other facility at Beach Road, which is used for a lot of regular clinical waste, UN 3291. And when the waste is properly treated, then you will get back a certificate of destruction will be issued by Stericycle for each collection. So those are a brief summary of the main points on how to transport Category A waste. Thank you.